This week on the Linux Action Show. Rumor has it the Big Novell Purchase was just approved. We discuss what this means for Linux. Then Microsoft's VP of Trusted Computing wants to tax the American people to fix Windows. We light our mics on fire with rage. Plus, we take a whole batch of your calls and so much more. Oh, this week on the Linux Action Show. And welcome to the Linux Action Show, Season 11, Episode 4. My name is Brian. With me is Chris.
Hey, Brian. Very soon, your home phone line may be running Linux.
It's not already?
Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera over here real quick.
Whoa!
The Android operating system will soon be making its way onto home phones. Check this guy out. Now, it's made by Motorola, and it's still in the concept phase, but the idea is your home landline could be running the Android operating system. Now, these are two different devices I'm showing.
My home what?
Your home landline phone. You don't have a landline, do you? You don't have a landline?
Did you just say something from the 1980s real quick?
Yeah, I know.
I don't think anyone actually has those anymore.
That's what I thought too.
Who the frig has a
I saw
home
this,
landline?
and if you do have, I have one because it comes with like my FiOS service, and I have an alarm system, and I figured, all right, fine, it comes with the service. I'll have a landline.
I guess.
But like the nice thing about a landline is I go retro, right? I go like old classic hardware phones that always work.
Honestly, if I had a landline, I would have like one of those phones on the wall that you take the horn off and you put it next to your ear and you talk into it, and you have to call the operator and you tap the thing 3 times and you go, operator, get me Cincinnati 657, brick.
Right, you got to give them the address because they don't have phone numbers. That'd be weird.
That's the only way to actually make it cool. If you have a landline, what the F?
What though? What if?
What are you doing?
What if you got a phone here and you're sitting on the couch and you could check your email on your house phone? You could maybe play a few games on your house phone.
Why would you play games on your house phone?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some reason.
Why would I go? Okay, the whole thing that's cool about an Android device is, okay, you got nice internet experience, cool internet apps, some cool on-the-go photo-y apps, and some games. Things to do while you're either A, on the pooper, or B, you're out and about, you're at work,
you already
you're
have
in a
a
meeting,
cell phone.
you're doing something. You already have a cell phone, that's why you're doing it. If you're home, you have what I like to call a computer, or what other people like to call a television, or a video game console, or an internet tablet, or an internet appliance, or all these other myriad of devices that do all that stuff and be better. But hey, why on earth would you want to have
its very own SDK?
No, it's not.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Like a different SDK from the Android?
Yeah.
Why? What does it give you?
It's Motorola, dude.
But what does it give you? It's Android, so why would you need a different SDK? It's just Android.
I don't know, to be honest, because I didn't bother reading the article because I felt it was so stupid.
It's got to be just Android
one
SDK.
Of the components of the SDK is like home automation stuff. Like, you get the little what are
X10?
those? Yeah, the X10 extenders and stuff like that. So you could be like sitting on your couch and control your lights and fans and stuff with your telephone.
But you can do that with like a cell phone.
You need to think big, dude. You got
this isn't thinking big. You know what? I don't like it.
While we're talking about Android,
I'm gonna lay it flat out. I don't like it.
While we're talking about Android, why don't we talk about my Android pick of the week?
All right, lay it on me.
Now, this is kind of a weird one, so I want everybody to get ready to wrap their massive brain noggins around this guy, okay?
Okay.
This is called ShapeWriter. Now, you might have heard of Swipe. Swipe is not ShapeWriter.
Okay.
But it is similar.
So it's one of those things where you
draw on the
keyboard. So basically, it's typing. You just don't lift your thumb up.
You keep your index finger or whatever it is. You keep it all on the keyboard at the same time, so you draw across the screen. Now, so I've been using this on my Android for about 2 weeks. I have a Droid, and it's not bad because the thing is anything you can do to shave down that texting time is nice, right? Because you can go whoop 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 whoop, and you could spell out a word, but it requires a certain level of prediction.
Dude, I'm watching the video here. It doesn't look any faster.
It's not. I don't find it to be much faster.
So what's the difference? So why?
There are people out there that are crazy with this. Like, like wizards. Like
Yeah, but like in the old days, there were people who were like insanely good with like Palm's graffiti, handwriting recognition, and they could go crazy fast.
That's this.
No normal human can go that fast.
This
They're crazy, weird androids. That's the only thing I can think of.
This is that modern version. But so here's the story. So there was another company out there that put a ton of R&D into this.
Swipe, right?
My understanding is this technology came from IBM essentially, whereas Swipe was sort of their own original invention.
Oh, okay.
There's not much difference. Swipe.
It looks exactly the same.
ShapeWriter is available for free in the Android marketplace.
Uh-huh.
Swipe, not available in the Android marketplace. Their approach is to sell directly to OEMs.
Okay.
So you'll get like an HTC phone with it already installed.
With Swipe on it, yeah.
Both of them fall short in one key area for me. If you're a new Android 2.1 user, every spot where there's a keyboard, you can draw your finger across the whole keyboard, and instead of mic, voice dictation input comes up. So any spot in the OS that takes keyboard input, you can also just dictate to.
Does it work pretty well?
Yeah. And when you're using ShapeWriter, you don't have the ability to bring up the dictation because that's a feature of the built-in Android keyboard.
So voice dictation, which I think would sound like it was faster, is disabled by something that is slower.
Well, the voice dictation isn't always 100%. So there's,
But this doesn't look like it's going to always be 100%.
It's not. But
so I don't understand, man.
Because you might not want to be like on the bus being like, "Hi, Mom. Yeah, my herpes is cleared up. Thank you for asking."
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If I need to go and tell my mom that my herpes is cleared up on the bus, I'm going to do so in the loudest way possible. I want everyone around me to give me space. The whole point of being on the bus is that people give you space, right? You don't want to be on the bus. The whole point. You don't want to be on the bus and people crowding you.
That's the point.
But if you're there and you're like, I got the herpes so bad right now. It's just the herpes are jumping off of me and landing on other people. And if you're screaming that on the bus, you get space. You can put your feet up. You can kick back and relax.
You get your own bus bubble.
So really what this does is this destroys my bus bubble.
You want a bus bubble. Well, here's the other thing about the Android dictation is you have to talk to it like a robot. Hello, Mom. It is Chris, and my herpes has cleared up, although it still itches a bit. Period. I'm glad you asked, comma, how is the other person's herpes?
You really have to talk like that?
Period.
You really do?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, that is kind of harsh.
But the other thing, too, is this has the ability for, like, punctuation marks, but the only one I can really figure out how to do is period and comma. I haven't been able to figure out how to do an exclamation yet. But so it's a cool concept because this app is available for the iPhone, but it has to be its own standalone app.
Maybe this app hates when people are excited. It wants you to be calm and collected. No exclamations here, man.
No exclamations.
That's not.
Don't get too excited.
That's not what ShapeWriter is about, yo.
So they have an iPhone app, but because you can't replace the keyboard on the iPhone, you have to go launch this independent app, type out what you want, copy it, and then close it and go into the app you want and paste it. Whereas this one actually has the ability to override the default Android keyboard.
That's one of the cool things about Android is that everything is like replaceable. That's like the thing that I dig about Android.
Yeah, totally. It's not bad and it's free, so might as well check it out. It is ShapeWriter, and you can find it in the Android marketplace or at shapewriter.com.
That's like saying you can stab yourself in the eye with a spoon. It's free, so you might as well check it out.
Might as well check it out.
Hey,
you know what?
Spoon in the eye.
We got a big show. Lots of listener feedback this week.
Hey,
we got some cool news items.
Before we do that, I want to talk about GoDaddy real quick because this episode of the Linux Action Show is sponsored by GoDaddy.com, the world's largest web host and domain name registrar. Starting at less than $5 per month, web hosting from GoDaddy.com includes 99.9% uptime, 24/7 support, and free access to GoDaddy Hosting Connection. It's all in caps. Place to quickly install over 50 free, all in caps, applications like WordPress, like Joomla, like your Drupal, like all the other stuff. It's great. It's awesome. Plus, as a Linux Action Show viewer, listener, feeler, writer, absorber, etc., enter promo code Linux, that's LINUX, at checkout and take an additional 10% off your entire freaking order. It's awesome. Some restrictions probably apply. See the site for more details. Get your PC internet now. GoDaddy.com.
Thank you, GoDaddy. Codes
awesome.
Linux to save 10% off any order, and Linux 20 to save 20% off hosting plans at GoDaddy.com.
Fantastic.
Very nice, sir.
Love
hey, you know what, Brian? That was an epic ad read. Probably my favorite ever.
No one could say that.
You could never top that one. That was amazing.
Why did I say no one could say that?
Because you're sleepy.
I'm sleepy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, internet Brian, and shows.
I think it's time. Let's do the news.
What's new in the news this week?
Oh, All right, Brian. Our top story on the news docket for this week. Citing underperformance in the market, a hug
fund.
A hedge fund.
A giant hug fund has been established. Everyone's going to hug Novell is what's going to be happening.
Yeah, basically.
We've decided as a community that Novell looks a little sad, a little down, a little doldrummy. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get together $2 billion in a hug fund.
So due to some lackluster performance of recent, a hedge fund has come in. A group of different companies have come in as one entity to buy up the individual assets of Novell. Now,
holy moly.
There's not a lot going on. There's not been a lot of information about all of this that's been going on. But one of the things that's come out recently as of today, and so I haven't been able to confirm it fully yet. Usually I'll wait for a story to bake a little more before we cover it on the big show.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a big deal if it's true.
Huge deal.
The word on the street is that Novell is officially going through with the purchase. They're going to be bought.
Oh, no.
I know. And one of the first things that's going to be sold off in this is their Linux division.
Sold off?
Spun off. They're going to, what they do, basically, it's like if a company came in and bought like a whole housing development, now they're going to spin off the individual houses.
Okay.
So instead of selling it as a whole housing development,
so theoretically then, the
home.
Linux division will be its own company.
Right. Well, its own set of assets they're going to sell. So another company can come in
and
say,
buy them.
like, just as a theory, like
Microsoft.
Well, no, a company that wanted to be selling Linux but wasn't quite queued up.
Microsoft.
Oracle, maybe. I mean, Oracle already sells Linux, but Oracle could come in and just buy up all of the Novell Linux division. Which would be pretty wild. That probably wouldn't be the way I'd really like to see things go.
No, that would give me a huge frowny face, I believe.
So, Novell has had a pretty rocky Linux community history.
It has.
They started out pretty strong, and then they had that Microsoft deal that kind of made things go south, and it's kind of been bumpy since then. Though performance-wise, their Linux division's actually been doing pretty good.
No, their Linux division has been growing. It's been doing well. It's been doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Novell's biggest problems, like even the Microsoft deal wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't a bad thing. It was just that they presented it in such a way where it sounded bad and sounded scary.
Right.
Okay, so that picture behind me is freaking me out a little bit.
What do you think, Brian? Do you think let's just go with the hypothetical theory. Novell's been bought. Their Linux division is going to get spun out into maybe another company, into its own company.
Yeah.
Most likely going to be bought up by another company that wants to add that to their portfolio of offerings.
Yep.
Let's quick recap of kind of what maybe Novell is the overseer of in the Linux community. You've got they're a ton of the weight behind OpenOffice and not the Sun is it and Evolution and the GNOME Desktop. They're huge.
Yep, they're a huge amount behind that.
You got Banshee, right? You
Banshee,
got F-Spot.
Mono in general,
right?
Basically, I mean, so
this could be a big thing for
Tomboy.
Mono and Moonlight.
Tomboy,
yeah, this could be huge. This could change a lot of things. I don't know. I don't really see this really ending super great. I guess there's always the possibility this could work out well.
I mean, what if someone came in and grabbed him, or that was Linux friendly? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But who do you picture in that space that's not already in that space?
I don't know.
That's the thing is I can't think of who that could be, and that's what makes me nervous.
I don't see Canonical stepping in and doing it because I just don't see Canonical as having that much cash.
Right.
I don't see Red Hat doing it. Though it would be a good move for Red Hat, but Red Hat's way too anti-Microsoft publicly, and Novell has too many close ties to Microsoft.
Red Hat doesn't need it. I was thinking that same thing, but I was like,
what
technology?
What benefit? Well, it's not so much the technology that you're getting; you're getting the employees.
It'd be the
you're
staff.
Getting the user
because
space.
The technology is open source.
Also, the user base. You're getting the people using it.
Client base.
If you're looking to give yourself a boost, the people that are currently running Sled and Celeste, you bring them along, and there are a lot of Sled installs out there.
And they would be able to definitely design a very smooth migration path,
right, to Red Hat Enterprise or Red Hat Enterprise Desktop. But I
really don't see
that happening.
I don't. I just don't see them going that route.
It's not in the cards there. I mean, so then it comes back to something like Mandriva, but or
cache again, dude,
or Xandros, but
cache.
But they just don't have it. I mean, Xandros, I don't know how much cache they've got. I mean, they picked up Linspire.
Right,
but I just don't see that as being
I think they got a good chunk of cash from the whole netbook boom because they remember their distribution was the #1 distro that shipped on the
For
Triple
a
E PC
while,
for a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So they probably got a good infusion of cash, but I don't think they got enough cash
I don't think so either.
to do that.
Yeah, no, I really don't know. Someone in the chat room is mentioning IBM. That's actually not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
IBM coming in and taking over SLED and SLES, taking over the people that are currently working them and keeping like a Novell Linux or a SUSE Linux company as a standalone company. That's not too bad of a way. Basically treat, Novell's Linux intellectual property as like a baking grounds for anything that IBM does that's Linux related. It's sort of like what Red Hat does with Fedora.
That's not a bad way to go. One thing I'll say is just from my personal experience. Now, I think IBM's done a tremendous amount of work for Linux. Huge.
Yeah.
But the one thing that, in my personal experience, coming from a corporate world, is a lot of times when you're dealing with very high systems, like very large dollar amounts, I'm going to get flamed for this, but IBM undersells Linux. They pitch Linux as, oh yeah, that's the PC operating system. If you want to do something that's not all that mission critical and isn't important for your company, you can run it on Linux. Like, oh,
Yeah,
you want
they
to
do.
generate some reports? Yeah, you can
do.
run it on Linux. But
They
if
do.
you really want to do something,
Yeah.
you need to run it on a mainframe class system with a mainframe class OS.
That's how they sell it.
And then what they literally told the people, that the clients that I were working with is, but we're really working on getting Linux to a point where in a few years, so we're going to have a migration path for you.
Yep.
But they're still down there selling their system and their services.
Yeah.
So it could be that they could bring in SUSE Linux to sort of have that low-end offering, and that's what they'll classify it as. And I think that is not good for Linux. We don't want Linux classified.
And it's not good for SLED and SLES.
And there
that's
should
for
be.
sure.
There's no reason to pitch Linux as the low-end offering.
No.
Because you look at like the biggest, largest computers and the fastest computers in the world doing massive calculations.
And a
are
lot
running
of them
Linux.
are running
A lot
Linux,
of them are.
yeah.
But that's just been the sales pitch that I have personally seen. I think IBM makes sense. That was one of the companies that entered my head.
Yeah, but I just can't see it. I mean, I could see, Oracle making a go for it, and that would really suck a bunch because I just haven't seen Oracle as having done anything
Oracle
good
is getting
from that.
massive blowback over the MySQL stuff.
Well, of course they are.
Did you see recently that, I think actually just like yesterday or something like that, Dig.com announced that they're dropping MySQL?
Really?
Yeah, they're switching to something called NoSQL.
No SQL?
Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I've not played. I've played
I've not
around
really
with
heard
a
much
lot
about
of
it either, but-
the MySQL variants, like Mariah and everything else.
I
but-
think you can find them at nosql-database.org, and they're supposed to be like the saving ground for MySQL users that are upset either with performance or the current political situation with Oracle.
Be darned.
Yeah. So it's one of these things I got to look into. So if people know much about NoSQL, I'd love to know. more
Yeah.
information.
Drop us a line.
Yeah, give them hints there. So this is one of those things where I don't really know. There's a lot
There's
of really
nothing
important assets.
we can.
I use FSpot. I use Banshee. I know you're a huge
I use
Banshee
Tomboy.
guy. Tomboy, yes.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I use Nautilus.
There's a lot of talk about rewriting Nautilus too.
Yes, I mean, there's so much that Novell contributes to that I am dependent on all day
the
long.
thing is, though, you and I are kind of talking about this in a traditional one company. Only they have access to the source model.
No,
Really,
I know,
If
I know.
Novell dried up, all that's open source.
It's not like those applications are going away.
This is our strongest asset in the open source community.
Those are still going to exist. The only
Nautilus
thing
is a
that
great
concerns
example,
me is ongoing development. So it's like with Banshee. Banshee's a
vision.
great player, and I know there's a lot of people just in the community that contribute to it. But when you have applications like that where there's a company behind it that hires a person or multiple people that can then spend part of their time at least working on it, that means it progresses faster. And that is
a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that too. It's also the vision of where to take things.
Right.
But the other thing that the open source license, the GPL, isn't going to fix is any of the trademarks or copyrights that might be in place on something like, I don't know, let's just say Banshee. There's some sort of technology inside Banshee.
I don't think so, but
No?
I think we're okay on that front. I don't know that for sure, but I think we're okay there.
Banshee has progressively become the coolest music player out there. I mean, I'm
Banshee's
showing
awesome.
two different screenshots of Banshee here. There's an old
That's an
screenshot
old
of Banshee,
shot.
right? And
Yeah.
then you look at where the new one's at now, and it's become so much more slick.
Yeah, it's great.
And this is actually even a little bit older of a screenshot here. It's actually even more refined than this screenshot is. So Banshee and FSpot are a couple of my favorites. Obviously, so is Tomboy. Though I have actually stopped. I've just gone kind of old school. I just keep a text file in a Dropbox.
Yeah, everything for me is now based around Dropbox.
You put your Tomboy
notes. I link them into Dropbox.
Yeah, see, that's what I should do because I'm just doing a note document, like a text file.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I link everything into Dropbox.
All right, so this is a story that's going to continue to develop.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep our fingers on the pulse of this story as it goes. Because honestly, at this point, it's all just speculation. There's no actual thing happening. Any day now, this could blow up and be the biggest thing ever, and Apple Computer could come in and buy the Linux assets of whatnot, and then Steve Jobs' head could explode. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So,
Interesting. You went to Steve Jobs' head exploding. I didn't quite get that, but anyways.
I was thinking like Scanners style, you know.
This next story on the news docket troubles me, Brian. It troubles me deeply.
Oh, does it?
Now check this guy out. Check this guy's actual title out. He is
ready.
It's a corporate vice president for trustworthy computing at Microsoft Corporation. You might have heard of Microsoft.
Wait.
Software
Say that title again.
Corporate vice president for trustworthy computing.
Corporate vice president for trustworthy computing.
Corporate vice president. Look at that. For trustworthy computing. Now,
here's the thing. If you're the corporate vice president for trustworthy computing and you have that on your resume for a couple of years.
That's not very trustworthy.
Well, like if you're going
not trust you.
Well, let's say you're going for another job and you want to be like what would be the next job that you would get? Like the president of trustworthy computing? Like I don't know. What the heck?
Where do you go?
What the heck? I mean, okay, having the word corporate in there and trustworthy computing confuses me a little bit.
Well, and why is it the corporate vice president? Yeah, that is weird. You know,
that's just a weird friggin' title.
You know what
dude.
it is Microsoft's got too many people.
Oh, you know what? Here's the thing.
Too many cooks, Brian.
And I don't know what that guy does, but it could be that guy does something really great. Like he just keeps tab on what security issues are the most prevalent, and he writes up documents on it and passes them off to the engineers so we can make sure we're working on the right things.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Maybe it's like a really important job.
Maybe.
But the title, without knowing anything about it, just makes me go, huh.
Yeah, well, I can tell you a little bit about what he's done recently, so you kind of get an idea
let me
what
know.
he's up to. So this guy over here, he's recommending that one way that might help deal with all of the Windows security flaws and malware issues that are going out. Personal note before I go too far: IT job during the day, right?
Okay.
As a group collectively, the company I work for, all of us are starting to say, we are seeing more malware infections in the last month than we've seen in 2 years. Like every single day, we have multiple clients calling saying, I've got a virus. Something's going on. And these viruses are getting, like these Trojans and stuff are getting good on Windows. They look like the Windows XP Security Center.
Yeah.
Hey, your firewall's off. It looks just like the Security Center dialog box. It always looks out of place like on a Windows 7 box because it's XP dialogs and that's your tell. But on XP, standard users can, and then it says, we've detected infection, click here to clean it, and that actually installs more crap. I mean, it's getting really sophisticated.
Way to go.
So this guy says, hey, you know how you fix it? Let's tax the American people.
What?
This guy actually wants to propose a tax that would be collected that then goes to Microsoft to help them fund fixing the problems in Windows.
What?
You believe
No.
this? Yes, dude. It's pretty ridiculous. He was at a conference, the RSA conference 2010 in San Francisco this last week. His name is Scott Charney, I think, Charney. And he says, and this is his quote, an internet usage tax might be the way to go. You could say it's a public safety issue, and it should be fixed with general taxation. Isn't this great? So then, transversely, should Linux users be able to apply for a tax break? Should we get like a rebate on our federal income taxes? You know, isn't that crazy? Does that blow your mind right now? Where don't we have a? Here, there's the Brian mind blowing cam right there.
I don't.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely no words to describe.
Here's the thing. Here's where I'm going with this, and
that's the stupidest goddamn thing I have ever freaking heard in my entire life.
I know.
What, to start with, does that have to do with this guy's goddamn title? Go read the title again.
His title is Corporate Vice President for Trustworthy Computing. You remember trustworthy computing used to be about that?
Yeah, the trustworthy computing was the Intel Itanium processor, where basically
only
it's
signed code could execute.
signed code. Basically, it's DRM for running applications.
Yes.
That actually isn't a terrible idea if you're looking at the problem of issues with Windows.
At
least it's a technological solution to the
I
problem.
can see the CIA using it where they only run 5 applications.
Exactly. Or if you're within an organization, you only want to button everything down and only let certain things run, you can utilize
And
it. I have
realistically-
issues with it, but it makes technological sense.
Can you accomplish the same thing with SE Linux, maybe? But
Yeah.
it's not chip backed up.
But it's not chip backed
Trustworthy
up.
computing was
It was
chip backed up. That's right. There was a hardware and a software component.
Nothing could actually run without being signed. Now this, however,
Totally different thing. Not
So-
that at all. Not that at all.
that's the stupid.
Now,
with
I
the,
wouldn't.
and
I
the
wouldn't
thing
wanna
and the
see,
guy
just
with the
before we
stupid.
get flamed, I wouldn't want to see trustworthy computing
No, I
on
wouldn't
general
either.
desktops. I wouldn't want to see it.
But
really.
at least it's a solution. At least
I can see where they're coming from.
At least you could point to it
Yeah.
and say that's a solution.
Right.
This one is some guy standing up and say, it's a great idea. I think that the American people should give us
pay
all the taxes that they could possibly give us, and then we'll think about figuring out how to fix it, huh?
We're one of the richest companies in America,
Yeah,
but we need your tax money.
We have $1 trillion in cash, but if you could give us another $1 trillion, we will promise that we will work hard on figuring out how we might be able to solve the problem
It's so
that we
crazy.
ourselves have created.
All right, so seriously,
guys.
Here's Microsoft's position. We're huge. We're on so many computers that we're now like almost a de facto computer operating system.
It's true. I mean, they are.
And so it's a public safety issue.
They are the default. I mean, they are a standard, whether we want to admit it or not.
I think what their problem is, they're looking at their install base
I'm okay with
and
that,
saying
though.
there's no way they can't go back now. Their problem is they can't go back and get people off of XP, Service Pack 0, Windows 98 SE. They're having a problem rolling these people onto newer operating systems that have, or getting new. Their problem is they can't get all these old people to get their infections cleared up. So those people are still essentially acting as like botnets and all this stuff, like screwing everybody else up.
You know
so
what?
they're like, well, the only way we could go out is if we just send people out to people's homes and get them upgraded for a free service, but we can't afford that, so that's going to have to be taxed.
You know what? If anything like this happens, you know what's going to happen? Whole new mesh wireless network. You can only use it if you run Linux.
I wish, but if anything,
Giant mesh wireless
if
network.
anything, so
I don't
can you
know.
imagine
This
the
is
bureaucracy
ridiculous.
around this too. Now, here's why I put this in the news docket for the Linux Action Show. Microsoft is kind of freaking me out these days. I went through a period where I thought, you know what, maybe Microsoft has gotten so big, so old that they realize that ship is not turning anymore. So they're making changes. They've made some good decisions, and then they've made some turns recently that, if you read into it, are really kind of scary. Last episode we covered some. I forget what we talked about. We talked about something Microsoft. Where they were they got Amazon to sign off on a patent deal.
Yeah.
And they'd supposedly gotten 600 other companies to sign up, but they won't disclose what the infringing IP is, so you can't prevent yourself from getting just a surprise call from Microsoft one day. That is some shady S. They're directly going after Linux companies.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so that I view as part and parcel to what's going on here. They could be doing stuff that isn't that big of a deal. The problem is, we don't know what the actual goals are here. We don't know what their motivation is. We don't know what their motivation is. Yeah. We don't know actually the details of what's happening. So, like with Amazon, you can look at it
positively or you can look at it skeptically. And honestly, though, I think when it comes to big corporations like this, I think it's safe to take the skeptical look.
It's all marketing. That's all this is. So, like this guy coming out and talking, right?
He's coming out. He wants to generate buzz.
He wants to generate buzz. So he's like, boom, here's this big controversial statement.
Drop this tidbit.
Here's a bomb on you.
Right.
Okay, great. So now everyone in the world freaks out and looks at this and just loses their head.
Right. Like I'm freaking out right now thinking another tax from a tax that goes to Microsoft.
Dude.
F that.
Dude, screw that. So what's the point though? Now, is this actually something that Microsoft sanctioned? Or is this just a guy that they really maybe shouldn't be running his mouth, gets up and runs his mouth? Well, it's like Bomber, all right?
Yeah.
Bomber,
they're not tight. This company is not a tight message machine.
They're not good on the message. Right. So Bomber gets up a lot of times and will just start mouthing off. Now, this is just the way Bomber is.
Now, you heard about the dude that suggested there should be an internet driver's license, right? I don't know if it was the same dude or not.
I hope.
It's like, where do all of these out of touch totally not reality ideas come from, and why are these people in important positions in a company?
Now, see, here's the thing.
Is important as
okay.
Microsoft.
It's okay to have people with crazy ideas in important positions.
I don't think it is.
No, that's not the big problem. The thing is,
I think that's the problem.
so like this.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a problem.
I think
I'm trying to like give them the benefit of the doubt here.
think
but this
there's
is kind of ridiculous.
This kind of stuff, this like taxation, the kind of stuff where you go, this is the most out of touch thing I've ever heard. And then you think, maybe this is their problem. Maybe this is why this company, despite all of their billions, despite their market share, cannot get crap right. Maybe it's because they are just full of people like this guy that are fully just out of touch. They don't get it.
Maybe that's what's going on. But it just seems like if they just come out and say, here's what we're thinking. Here's what we see as a problem.
Yeah.
Here's how we propose to fix it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? And just put it out there, not just to the Linux open source community, because let's be honest, we're small. We are small.
We're powerful, Brian. We're treacherous.
There may be millions of us, but there's billions of them. So we're small by comparison. Yeah, do the math on that.
Okay,
one.
I got it. Yeah.
So really, they don't need our buy off on any of this. But maybe, just maybe, we or the people in the Mac community or in the Haiku community or in like some of the Windows communities that are maybe a little looking at maybe moving to different technologies have an idea of how to fix their problems.
Oh.
We'll say back to Microsoft, well, here's the actual problem we see with XP or with Windows 7 or with migration issues or with these security issues. Here's what we need to see in order to fix them, and Microsoft could just implement them. How hard is that? I mean, it's just talk to us. That's a freaking bomber pumpkin.
I know, dude. I know.
Those of you who listen to the audio stream are once again missing out on the greatness of Chris's image search.
Probably want to tune in so you can see a Steve Ballmer or Steve Ballmer giving his serious face.
Oh, God.
Look at the way he's holding that cup, too. Look at that monkey grip on that cup.
Okay, now we're just being a little mean. All right, this is pretty frigged up.
Yeah.
This is screwed up.
He's got a little monkey grip.
He does have a bit of monkey grip. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. I need to hear something that. It doesn't bother me. Like when one of these things happen.
It scares me.
Like with the Amazon thing.
Okay.
That didn't freak me out. Because it could just be that Microsoft was like, hey, you're using FAT without licensing it. It could be, well, hold on. It could be as simple as that. And it could be that they forgot to properly message this and the people in charge of it didn't give the information out.
No, that's not the case, though.
Now, when multiple things like this are happening back to back to back, like this guy coming out and starting and spouting about taxing Linux users and Mac users for Microsoft's own problems, and they don't have a solution even.
Right.
Okay, well, now I'm starting to stop, and I'm like, okay, so what the heck are you guys actually trying to do?
Let's just say one day you had a ton of crazy free time, and you wanted to build a little mobile Linux device. Or, I mean, what's to stop Microsoft from coming after Canonical?
Nothing.
Nothing
to stop any
does
company
that give
from going
you
after
pause
anybody.
about if you say, let's say you seriously think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Let's say you were going to make an N900 type device.
Okay.
And you don't know what technology Microsoft might have a patent on, and Microsoft could come knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Does that give you pause at all?
It gives me tons of pause.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see.
Honestly, it keeps me up at night.
That's all they have to do. All they have to do is scare you enough by doing a few of these.
Yeah.
That even if they stop 2% of all of the creators out there from putting a product on the marketplace, they've just done it.
This is not a Microsoft problem. This is a Microsoft and Oracle and Apple problem. This is a big corporate issue. Now, not all big corporations are like this, but the big ones are. I mean, look at Apple. Apple sues everyone who ever thought about making operating systems or cell phones.
I know.
Everyone. They actually, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous the things they're suing people for. Now, it could be. Here's why I say, like with Amazon, I give Microsoft the benefit of the doubt. It could be that the patent agreement they reached with Amazon is all based around like specific Microsoft technologies like FAT. Now, if it gets really specific like that, I'm annoyed that they would force someone to go into an agreement, but I understand it at least. Now, if it's someone like Apple coming out or Microsoft's actually coming out and saying, you know what, I have a patent on making an operating system for a computer, so you're gonna have to license that from me. that's when I freak my brain out a little bit. And I'm like, okay, that's just pure unadulterated evil and attempting to make it so that there can be no progress on technology at all. That's all that
here's
is.
an example. I would think
that
this would
makes
suck.
me angry.
I think this would suck. But let's say Microsoft came out with the Zune HD2, and it has the ability to, as soon as you walk into your house, it connects to your Wi-Fi and syncs with the Zune software via Wi-Fi immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, you could patent that. That's fair. It sucks, but you could do it.
Yeah, you could. It gets
if your
specific
patent
enough,
is device can play music back by touching the screen,
that's friggin' stupid.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
it is
really
so
stupid.
fundamental.
Push
I
a
don't
button
like it
that says
altogether.
play. No, I don't think so.
But you're talking to a couple guys. We put all our stuff out as Creative Commons, share alike license.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
so-
Maybe we're just completely out of touch. Maybe we
I don't
are
think
the
so.
ones that are crazy
think,
here.
I hope not. I hope
not to.
I
man.
hope that it's more open. I hope future is more open. Yeah, who knows?
See, I think if you ask people, I think if you go up to someone like I bet you if
It's
we sat down
established, you know?
right now with Steve Ballmer, I think if you put Steve Ballmer right in front of us right now and we're like, do you think people should have a patent on things like a play button? He'd go, dude, no. Because, of course, his company's going to want to eventually make software that's going to infringe, that's going to have a play button. So he's going to be like, of course you can't have that.
Right.
But as a company, Microsoft will still go out and push these patents on people. And it's like, well, so the people, all the individuals want the freedom. They want the happiness. They want the
But as a
ability
group,
to
they don't do
innovate
it.
and create new technology.
Right.
But yeah, as a company, they're like, no, we're going to go after people because they have an X button that's on their window. It's just friggin' ridiculous.
I hear you.
Friggin' ridiculous, Chris.
Right? All right, Brian.
If Microsoft or Apple or Oracle would like to comment on any of these issues, or Amazon or anyone else, feel free to get in touch with the Linux Action Show, and we would be happy to talk with you about it.
Absolutely. All right,
Of course,
Brian.
none of them will.
Is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap the news segment up?
No, I need a Valium now is what I need.
All right.
My head has been blown apart.
I
This
know.
whole new,
We'll put the pieces back together,
Jaga.
and we'll move forward. All right, Brian. That's all the news for this week.
It's been quite some time since we've done some listener feedback and listener questions.
Yeah.
And so we're going to dive into that in just a second. But during the little break there, I was thinking about it. And this goes back to our last little segment.
Okay.
And I want to mention this one thing really quickly here because I find it funny.
Do it.
So this is a Microsoft thing, right? So this is looking at Microsoft. Get this. So they have a guy. Nothing happened. So nothing's going on. But they have a guy that comes out on stage when nothing is happening to literally be the boogeyman and try and scare the internet with new taxes, right? Yet they come out with something like Codeplex, which is just an organization to help open source communities work better together with like companies and to get more open source into companies, which is a good organization. And what did they do? They forgot to tell anyone they did that. So they do something awesome. They don't tell a soul on the planet.
Nope.
They do nothing. They put a boogeyman on stage and they say they're going to tax you. I find that funny.
What is their deal?
Why
can
on
they not
earth?
get it right, dude?
Seriously. They
ridiculous.
Codeplex is a good thing.
Yeah.
They told nobody.
Right.
And well, they had like a press release, but it was worded weird, so it just sounded scary. But it was actually a good thing.
And it was too much Microsoft speak, so your brain starts to hurt. So you stop.
And it's like 4 pages long of press release. It's awful. And then nothing happens because they're not taxing us right now. Microsoft has no control over that, and yet someone gets up on stage to scare us. What is wrong with you guys?
You guys need to figure it out. You guys
figure out the marketing and press here.
Think
you guys,
about it.
It's like it's blowing my mind. Anyway, let's do some listener feedback.
All right, let's listen to James here. He called in, and I should say before we go too much farther, if you'd like to get a hold of the Linux Action Show or any Jupiter Broadcasting show, you've got a couple different ways to do it, and you can head over to jupiterbroadcasting.com and then click on the Contact Us link up in the top corner of the page, and up in there you'll find our phone number as well as our Skype handle. If you call the phone number, it connects to our Google Voice account, and it will leave a voicemail for us. And if you don't want to bother with the long distance, we have a Call Me widget on our page.
So fancy.
And if you click that Call Me widget, Google Voice will call you for free. So
you just punch in your number, boom, it says okay, I'll call you.
And you can choose to keep your phone number anonymous if you would like. All right. Well, James from Seattle called in. He's our first caller up for the day.
Hey, Brad and Chris. This is James Mason, Bear 454, calling you in. Just driving back up to Bellingham from Seattle. Had a beer with Reverend Ted. Sorry we couldn't get with you guys too.
Whatever.
But, that's the way it is.
Whatever.
Anyway, just listened to the last show, and I got to say, you guys are awesome, and I'm so glad the Linux Action Show is back. But I don't know what it is with you guys and not pronouncing the name of anything right.
That's true.
I swear,
Yeah,
I've never
seriously.
seen anything like it. It's unbelievable. Do me a favor. Anytime you want, send me the name of a product, brand, whatever. I will find out the right pronunciation.
What if we could just get him on the phone before a show?
Sure
Yeah.
the name of the video player, the awesome set-top box, is the Rock U. I'm pretty sure that's the way they want it set.
I disagree.
The Rock U.
I'm pretty sure I've always heard it called the Roku.
Anytime, anything, let me know. It's not Vista, it's Vista. It's that easy. I can help you with this.
We never call it Vista.
I might have once.
Oh, as a joke.
The Moblin build process that's so awesome, that's so cool, is actually an internal use of the OpenSUSE build service. So
Oh, nice.
look up there. Kudos to OpenSUSE on another awesome thing. And looking forward to the next show, guys. Take care.
Right on.
Nice. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, James. So it is actually I'm pretty positive called the Roku because
I don't know, but the word rock you is kind of awesome.
it is. However,
It should be called the rock you, even if it's not.
It's true.
That's what I'm going to go with.
But I've spoken to the
That's
founder,
my
and the
takeaway.
founder calls it Roku.
Oh, well, then in that
So
case.
I think it's called Roku.
Yeah, but you know what? People say that Ubuntu is pronounced like Ubuntu or
That's
something
true.
like that, but
That's
they're all
true.
wrong. And I mean, we've spoken to Mark Shuttleworth,
good
and
point.
that's how he said it, but I think he's wrong.
That's a good point.
So I'm going with how I say things.
Yeah,
And I'm going to say from now on, James is right. It's the rock you.
I like Roku better.
Rock you.
I like it better.
Because it's awesomer.
Maybe
you
that
can
was the
say it
original
cooler
intention.
rather than Roku. Not as cool. Rock you.
I bet that was the original intention, and it just didn't take off, dude. I bet.
Oh.
All right, we've got a question now about Flash on 64-bit Linux.
Oh, no.
Hey, Brian and Chris. This is Matt. First
Hey, Matt.
of all, you guys are awesome.
True.
Second of all, how in the hell do you get Flash running on 64-bit Linux? Because I have been pulling my hair out trying to get that to happen. Thanks, bye.
Can't be done.
Well, have you ever seen those movies like where they have people like Tarzan, and like Tarzan, is mate Jane and everything, and they
No.
have like the natives there, and they're like doing like fertility dances and stuff.
Never seen that.
It's kind of like that.
Oh,
That's how you get Flash working.
No
on,
wonder why I can't get it
64-bit.
working.
Yeah, you got to do a fertility dance, and with like little like bones dangling from your head and stuff. It's a lot of work, but once you get it, is pretty good until you app get update.
I don't know if I have an answer for him because I've never had the only 64-bit distros I've run are Ubuntu based.
So yeah,
and
so,
I just install it.
The Ubuntu, if you're running Ubuntu, it's a one-click install. Just go to a Flash website or hop on into their App Center or Synaptic and just install the non-free Flash plugin.
Yeah.
I have had problems getting the Nash, the open source
Ganache.
Flash
Yeah,
player working on
Ganache,
64-bit, but that's not. I don't think it's a problem in Nash. I think it's just a packaging issue. I have had a lot of issues getting Flash working at all
On
Fedora.
Yeah.
64-bit Fedora with Flash is kind of a bit of a nightmare. It's also a little difficult out of the box in just straight Debian, but it can be done.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't want to just be an Ubuntu fanboy here,
But it works well.
But it works
Yeah,
well.
I
If you're
agree.
looking for a 64-bit distro with Flash support, Ubuntu is probably the way to go right now.
I agree, sir. All right. Speaking of Ubuntu, our next caller wants to know what we think about the new Ubuntu theme.
Hey, Brian and Chris. This is Matt. First of all,
Whoop,
you
we
guys...
already played Matt. Sorry, guys.
Oh, and I want to make
Hey, what's up?
one note here. The Flash that you'll be running in the 64-bit version of Ubuntu is actually the 32-bit Flash. It just kind of wraps it all up.
Yeah, they
But
are
honestly, it works fine.
There is an alpha, though, of 64-bit Flash for Linux apps.
Yes, it is out there, but it just takes a few more steps to install from Adobe's website.
Yep. All right. Now we'll play the Ubuntu theme question.
This is Mohan, and I just wanted to know you guys' take on Canonical rebranding Ubuntu with the new theme and new log-on screen and the new boot up splash and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. And
All right. So what
right.
do we think of the new Ubuntu theme?
I kind of was avoiding the topic.
Yeah, I've been too. I've been
Yeah.
too because we've talked a lot about themes on the show.
And we kind of got people just started classifying us as the show that talks about themes for a while there.
Yeah, so we kind of
I
avoided discussing
Yeah,
it.
I kind of avoided. But honestly, the interesting thing about this is that Canonical's been touting this big change for years now.
Yeah,
It's been like 2 years in the making.
Oh, at least.
Where they're like, you know what? Right around the corner, this big new theme refresh gonna blow your mind.
It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna be like the Mac of Linux. We're gonna be awesome. We're gonna be cool. That's what like Mark Shuttleworth was saying. So we've been waiting for it. We've been built up,
right.
And they finally unveiled it. You can get it now if you're running 10.04. Just update to the latest version of 10.04, and you'll have the new theme and,
Do you like
background.
it?
And
you like
everything.
it?
Actually, yeah, it's really nice.
I don't so much. I really dig the icons.
So the icons are great. Their backgrounds, you know, it's better. It looks classier.
Now, in the ones we've been looking at, they've had the Mac style close and open.
Yes, that is how it is.
I thought that was.
No, that's how it looks in the actual builds.
Why though?
Right
Why
now.
do that?
So the close, minimize, maximize buttons are on the left, and in fact, the close button is on the right hand side of the buttons that are on the left. So it's like ultimately wrong. Like it actually, like the first couple of times using it, I had a hard time. I kept clicking the wrong buttons.
So I'll probably be changing that instantly.
Yeah, I did pretty quickly. But the theme in general is nice. The button
It
controls
does look
nice.
smooth, like
it's smooth. It's slick. They did a really nice job on all of it. I think the window jewelry thing, the closed
border,
buttons,
yeah.
that's they need to fix that. That's a problem. But overall, big improvement. I think it makes for much better marketing screenshots than the old Ubuntu brown orange.
Absolutely, it does make for
And
much
that's
better.
what's important.
It's still a ton of orange, though. I mean, the icons all have an orange look to them. The buttons have an orange look. They just look really good. They look really polished orange.
Yes. And orange is okay as long as it's polished. As long as
good.
It's quality.
It's a really good theme. It would be an awesome theme a year ago. Yeah. The problem is, me personally, is I felt like we waited two plus years for this new artwork.
We needed something that was going to just blow our brains out.
It needed to be a totally new look for Ubuntu.
Yeah.
At least an option. This should have been 1.5, and then they should have had a 2.0.
You know what I was kind of expecting? I was expecting a more radical change, like when KDE 4 came out, or when we're looking at like GNOME 3 with like the new like shell and the new look. I was expecting something more radical like that to happen from Canonical. This is a nice look.
Yeah,
it's a clean look. It's a classy look. It's a look that can compete look and feel wise with Mac and with Windows, and that's what's necessary right now.
Kind of.
But I wish that they take it a step further.
I don't think it actually does compete necessarily with Windows 7.
I think it does, honestly, because the default for Windows 7 is a little bit light for me. I like a little bit classier of a theme, a little darker of a theme. So when I look at this, I think that almost all of this, except for those Windows close buttons, those the close, maximize, minimize stuff, look classy and timeless. It's dark, it's smooth, it's satiny, it's pleasant. But those buttons take you out of it. They're jarring. They look like in a year from now they'll look so dated that it'll just be like, oh God, really? It's like Mac OS 10. When Mac OS 10 came out, like the very, very first version, everyone at like Macworld who saw that, they're like, oh my God, that is the sexiest thing I've ever seen. And then 2 years later, they're like, dude, that looks like a tiny little toy and looks gross and lame, and there's pinstripes everywhere, and it looks garishly ugly and old and dated. That's what those buttons are going to look like a year from now. They don't look that great now. A year from now, they're going to look old and garish and dated.
Now, what do you think of
the rest of it? Looks phenomenally nice.
What do you think of the
classy.
lighter one that has a lighter decorator on it? I'm not a big fan of that.
I don't care for it all. The dark theme is nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm a dark theme guy.
The one thing I got to say about this does put it firmly in the nicest looking Linux distribution category right now.
I don't know if it puts it at the top,
The only
though.
real benefit, though, the only real contender there is Linux Mint currently. But the interesting thing about that is they're both Ubuntu based.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, their login screen.
I think I'm still going to change it from...
their GNOME login screen is nice. It's not like blow everything out of the water, but it's nice. Their boot screen is nice, but it's not blow everything out of the water. It's just nice. I like it.
Do you play a lot with the theming, I put that in quotes, theming ability of Windows 7?
Yeah, a little bit. When I'm on Windows 7, I change the look quite a bit to try and make it look.
I guess it's just okay to do that. I mean, I'm trying to decide if do I want my desktop out of the box to just ship amazingly beautiful and I just don't have to worry about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being stupid. I just look at it like anything more I have to do to really get my system set up is a bunch of overhead that prevents me from getting going.
No, that's true.
And it's even and it's never just download a theme and apply it. It's always I gotta tweak it a while. I'm just getting sick of that. And these distro themes, when they're awesome, are always the most polished. Like they spent the most time thinking about stuff. And they're always really great themes when I like them, because they're the most complete icon sets, everything's the most complete. So I don't know. I wish it was a little more at my alley, but I'm not going to complain.
I like it. I modified a little bit. I changed I honestly, basically what I did is I just moved those close buttons over to the right hand side. It's a quick little fix.
I'm definitely going to be doing that.
Other than that, it looks pretty nice. I mean, they did a really nice job, so I'm happy with it. Now, I'd really like to see some of the other distros kick into gear and do this as well. OpenSUSE has some really nice look and feel things about it. For starters, I love the color green. The emerald green is just pretty.
Yeah, they do a good job.
So I would like to see like a renewed focus from the OpenSUSE guys on like, an updated version of their look and feel with their default colors. Because I think that OpenSUSE, which is similar to Linux Mint in that they both have the green thing going on, could be just super classy looking. And Fedora just needs to stop looking like Windows 2000 for a minute and just really like sexy it up.
Are you hating on Fedora? Just real quick. Are you hating real quick?
Well, that slipped out, man. That slipped out.
Should we play our next caller?
Yeah, who do we got?
Hey, fellas, how you doing? This is Mark Ferguson from Fairburn, Georgia. I just wanted to give you guys a shout-out. I'm super stoked that you guys brought back the Linux Action Show.
Me too.
That's when I first caught up with you guys, and then when you changed it to Computer Action Show, a little part of me died. But, you guys are brought it back. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. I'm actually calling you from my Droid using Google Voice, so the fact that Chris has some apps that he's promoting on the beginning of the show is pretty cool. So you guys are awesome, and I do like the attention, so I'm going to plug my blog, which is fergietech.com, and just keep up the work, all right? Have a good one.
All right, let's play our next caller.
Hey, fellas, how you doing? This is Mark Ferguson from...
Let's play the same color again, is what I meant to say.
Does that.
Hi, Chris and Brian. This is Chris from Wisconsin. I've been running a version of Debian with Enlightenment called eLive.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting setup. If you run unstable, you don't have to pay anything. If you want to donate and download stable, that's the only way you can do it. It might be a way to make money off of Linux. I'm not sure if it'll work. But I really like the distribution. Thought I'd mention it. And I'm glad to see the Linux Action Show back, but would it be possible to review some of the Amiga operating systems out there, too? Thanks, guys. Bye.
He's a guy after your own heart there, Brian.
I hear you, man. I hear you. There's a lot of cool Amiga projects going on. I mean, Morphos is awesome, and the Amiga OS itself is actually kind of alive right now, and that's kind of cool.
Let's talk really quickly. So he mentioned he's using eLive, which is an Enlightenment-based distribution.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, a new version of eLive just recently came out.
What do you think about this model of unstable is free, stable is pay?
I don't know that I fully understand it.
I almost would want it reversed, me being the enthusiast I am. I would almost put the stable out there because you get the older stuff, and that's your first taste of our distro.
And then the unstable is pay.
Which you pay for if you want to see what we're working on. But then again,
you have the flip side of people getting upset because they're like, I paid to be a beta tester? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand making a version and you pay to fund the development.
And because you want to be able to fund the unstable
Because honestly,
development.
Enlightenment's a great project. I mean, or a series of projects. Yeah. It's very, very cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, I'd almost recommend grabbing eLive. Just do a Google search for eLive. I don't remember what the exact website is. It might just be elive.com, but I don't know.
And or elivecd.org.
Got it. It's very, very cool. It's interesting. It does have a lot of visual pizzazz, and
it's gorgeous,
and it runs very, very well. It's very lightweight,
and they have a full demo of like the highlights of the eLive CD over on their site. That's what we're looking at right now.
It's worth checking out. I really like it. I don't run it as my default though. I find that I use it a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going back to GNOME. For me,
I do too.
eLive or Enlightenment is awesome, but it's like for me in use, I go like GNOME, KDE, Enlightenment.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are like my window managers.
I like to visit, but I don't live there.
I love to visit actually.
Yeah.
I find it to be a incredibly cool project, and it thrills me that they're still going, and I hope that they keep pushing forward. It's not for me at the moment.
Yep, I hear you, man. All right, well, that's all of the call-ins we had. We did have someone write in a question from the chat room, though, Brian.
Yeah, what do we got?
Extremely important. They wanted to know where you got your haircut at.
Really? Did someone actually write in?
They actually wrote in.
And let me know where I get my haircut.
Where do you get your haircut at, Brian?
You really want to know?
Sure, why not?
I get my haircut at the same guy who's been cutting my hair since I was in high school.
Adorable.
Yeah, there's this old guy. He's
forgot to cut your sideburns one time.
Yeah, literally. Like last time, time before last, he forgot to cut my sideburns. This last time, he kind of gave me a little more of a bowl cut. Next time, I'll get a mohawk. I don't know. I usually go in. I go in and I'm like, yeah, you want to just trim it up a little bit,
Brian.
and I come out with a whole new look and feel.
Hey, Brian. Will you please ask for a mohawk next time?
No, I can't. See, that's the thing. No matter what I ask for,
You don't get it?
I don't get it. He's just gonna cut my hair. I'll leave with shorter hair than when I came in. That's the
Awesome.
only thing I can be assured of. But his haircuts are super cheap.
That's good.
And he's cut my hair forever. So he sees me coming. He's like, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, you want to get a haircut?
Yeah, I
Sit
mean,
down.
he's cut my hair since I had like 87,000 pimples on my face.
You
so
punk. You're a
it's
punk.
just kind of,
Beavis in the chat room says you're an adorable little punk.
I am fairly adorable.
All right, Brian. Well, that's all the listener feedback for this episode. We did get a few more, but some of them got a little long, so we're going to listen to them after the show.
Okay, last episode, I made a point.
You kind of
not
talked
leaving
about it.
long voicemail.
You
Now-
did kind of say that.
Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, Brian's just giving me a challenge to leave a longer voicemail because he thinks it'd be funny. No, no, it's not funny. If you leave me a 50-minute voicemail that is funny, I will play it. But it has to be funny.
Yeah.
Or
The whole
entertaining.
time, the whole
whole
time.
time. If you have like a minute down where I'm not entertained, boom, it's gone.
Yep.
Off the air.
Yep.
Boom.
That's you laying the law down right there.
That's
big
what I
guy.
just did.
All right, everyone. Well, that wraps up the listener feedback for this episode, but we want to get more, so be sure to contact us so we can feature it in a future episode.
Please do. And that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. How much does that freak you out?
That's a lot of freaking out. And it's brought to you by the Jupiter Broadcasting Store.
It's brought to you by the Jupiter Broadcasting Store.
Well, if you'd like to help fund...
It's brought to you with it. It's sitting next to the Jupiter Broadcasting Store on the internet.
Support for the Linux Action Show is brought to you by your purchases. Your very own purchases bring you this very own podcast at store.jupiterbroadcasting.
Sure as heck does.
Do
That
you
was
like
nice.
that?
That was very nice.
Thank
I
you,
like that
sir.
a lot.
I have a little tease for next
No, you
week's
don't.
episode.
No, you don't.
You want to hear it?
I kind of do.
New version of VirtualBox is out, or it's going to
Sure
be
is.
out. I want to do a
Gonna
review
be.
on the show. And one of the things they're talking about is that they've made a lot of improvements on seamless mode, where you can
Nice.
run different operating systems applications without the VirtualBox border, so it's like runs as an application. I want to try that out. I'm
Nice.
going to review it on next weekend's show.
No, you're not.
And then also,
You're screwing with me right now.
you ready for this?
Okay.
A little bit of controversy brewing with Fedora 13.
Whoa.
They might be getting a little slack from some upstream maintainers. And
Nice.
we're going to cover that on next week's Linux Action Show.
Well, that's just fantastic.
All right. Is there anything else we want to cover before we
No, there is nothing else I want to cover other than go to our forum at jupitercolony.com.
Very nice, sir. All right, everyone. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Linux Action Show. We're back next Sunday at jupiterbroadcasting.com.
Yeah, I probably would have been nice. But you look
This week on the Linux Action Show, rumor has it the Big Novell Purchase was just approved. We discuss what this means for Linux. Then Microsoft's VP of Trusted Computing. Oh, that was really hard to say.